So I have to tell you something.
Okay.
I listened to Praise on my way into work this morning, and I was so fucking turned on.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Just listening to us talk about it,
Yeah.
I was turned on.
Yeah.
And then had to sit through a 4-hour fucking meeting.
No.
Just
I mean, I think at this point, the way I feel after reading Praise is just the baseline for how I exist in the world.
sure.
So I'm just,
You're always that level of turned on.
oh, yeah. I did really like that episode a lot because I think that it's a really good representation of our dynamic. When you listen to it, did you feel the same?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you really get a feeling for it. And I think that was one of my favorite episodes that we've ever done. And it was a re-recording.
Yeah.
Look how stressed out I was about that.
Yeah, you didn't think it was going to be as good. The audio wasn't as great as some other ones, but we're figuring it out.
Yeah.
What I think I liked about Praise is, so it was the scene where he's rubbing her foot
Yeah.
and then she's like rubbing his dick with her
With
other
her
foot.
foot.
It's such an accessible scene.
Yes.
That could happen in real life.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
you like more of the scenes where it's like, I want something different that I'm not getting in real life. And
Sure.
I like the ones that could really happen to me. That scene does it. It does it for me. That would be my favorite scene, I think, from that book.
Really?
I was thinking about what my favorite scene is because I'm not at all into the dom sub.
Sure.
And I think it's that scene.
My favorite scene would probably be the scene. It would probably be the scene in the restaurant when he is like,
Oh, and I hated that one.
when he's like withholding the orgasm from her.
Nope.
That whole scene was, oh God. I think one of the things that I really liked about that book and what I've liked about other books since then is a little bit of the novelty.
Sure.
We don't get a lot of those types of scenes.
No.
We don't get a lot of those like almost kind of like innocent
Yeah.
type scenes in a lot of the books that we read. And even in the book that we read last week, 'Tis the Season for Revenge. I haven't re-listened to the episode yet, but in retrospect, I think that I really liked that they spoke to each other differently than other, like, I don't even think I really liked the book that much. I just think I was like so starved to see them interact differently than how so many men and so many women are written in these books.
'Tis the Season for Revenge is more realistic than this book.
Yes. So I actually have a note here before we get into this episode.
Yeah.
This book is not safe for work. This is not one where you could just like turn it down when we talk about the naughty bits. My entire recap is basically just naughty bits. You're literally, hang on, buckle up, because you are literally about to hear me just talk about sexual activities.
You're going to be explaining the logistics of each sex scene.
Yes.
Because the whole book is a sex scene.
It's actually, I think we're a new podcast. We're working on our rating system. One of the things that we've been throwing around is sort of labeling books. This is a smutty book. This is not a book with smut. This is not a book with spice. There is no storyline.
No, this is a smutty book.
Just a smutty book, plain and simple.
Yeah, if you're just looking for inspiration, I think you could get there.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Trilina Pucci. I got one of her books this summer. Not So Lucky, I think it's called.
Okay.
Because I was at my uncle's wedding and the woman that my uncle married, one of her bridesmaids is Trilina's mom. Brought those books.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So I have almost.
Way to support your daughter, Mom.
Right? It was so cute.
Smutty books.
And then we had to talk about it. My uncle calls these books cliterature.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
Okay. I hate that a man made that name up.
I don't know them. I'm sure he heard it somewhere.
Sure.
But they were all just so proud to tell us about her because these books were like Amazon top seller, things like that.
Sure.
So I was excited to read this book because I like 5 Degrees of Separation from the author.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
The author's bio is wild. Her website, I recommend visiting her website. It has all of the personality that you would expect somebody who would write a book like this.
Her social media too.
I believe that.
Yeah, she seems super fun.
Yeah, for sure. She seems like somebody that I would absolutely go on a girls trip to Vegas with.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yes.
We would be doing cocaine out of.
Yeah, we'd be getting like the dead hooker Vegas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what book are we reading?
We are reading Tangled and Tinsel by Trilina Pucci.
And there are content warnings. You know,
Shocker.
the thing is I really feel like these books should have content warnings. I don't know why, but the content warnings are not what you think they are. The content warnings are literally alcohol and sex. And
I wish that was it.
it is.
That's it. It's amazing. She's
Sex.
just like, if you get triggered by any type of sex acts, just trigger warning.
Yeah. The themes for the book are 4 guys, 1 girl, no male, praise, degradation, and why choose. So I would say, if you're squeamish.
This book is graphic.
I don't even know how, honestly, Nicole and I were talking about this. I don't even know how we're going to sit across from each other.
No.
While she listens to me describe these things.
This would be such a good one for video recording because I will be beet red and giggling the whole time.
That's going to make it so hard to edit because the editing material picks up your like little giggles. So it'll be
just mute myself when I'm not talking.
I actually really enjoy the giggles when I'm editing. It brings me joy. So even though
sometimes
I cut some of them out,
sometimes when I'm looking for a clip and I fucking giggle, I'm like, God damn it. And you can't hear what you're saying because I'm fucking giggling.
Oh my God, it's worth it. So worth it. All right. Well, I'm Amanda.
I'm Nicole.
And we are Book Sluts. Let us help you decide if you should keep this book on your TBR. We are not going to tell you that you should or should not read this book. We are going to tell you about the book, and you can decide if this is one that's going to make your list. I will say up front, I am very glad that I read it. It was a good time. So yeah. These are books that I would read with a very specific ending in mind.
Yeah, I'm not reading these while I'm sitting across from my mother-in-law.
No, these are not ACOTAR, Neon Gods, nothing even in that realm.
Yeah. What I do think is cute that she did, and she says that she did this specifically, is the main character, Samantha, there's no description.
Yeah. She did say that. I did make a note about that.
So you can picture yourself easier.
I do have some notes about that, but yeah. Okay. Well, we open with Samantha, Sammy, Sam, whatever you want to call her. For the purposes of my notes, I made it Sam because it is the easiest to write, and I get hand cramps writing all of these notes. So Sam is an interior designer who has a very wealthy client who has brought her up to a cabin home to decorate for a party that he is hosting. And her sister calls her, and we learn that there is a winter storm picking up rapidly and turning into a blizzard. And she asks her sister to book her a hotel and hangs up when our first main male character enters the cabin. And then slowly the remaining 3 men make their way into the scene. And again, this is like a smutty book. So she really just she describes each of them individually. We're not wasting any time getting to know any of these men.
No.
She goes into descriptions for each of them. And like Nicole said, she does not have a description as the author designed it. However, I hate when they describe their clothing as a way to describe a personality.
Sure.
And this particular gal is wearing skinny jeans and a cream off-the-shoulder sweater, which you may not be giving me a physical description. I know exactly what this person looks like.
Sure.
She's an interior designer who drives a Porsche, who asked her sister to book her hotel with room service, and she's wearing a cream sweater with dark skinny jeans. I know what this bitch looks like.
I could picture you wearing that.
What?
Maybe not an off-the-shoulder sweater, but I can picture you in, I guess just dark leggings and a cream-colored sweater, oversized sweater.
Bitch.
Maybe not cream.
When have you ever seen me wear?
Find a gray one. Literally wore the gray one yesterday.
Oh my God. The only color I own is gray or green or black. So I
look great in cream. So
you look good.
Probably.
You look great in light colors. But I don't know. she's not describing her, but she is kind of describing her. And
Sure.
I would have liked it if she would have just like left a little bit of that out.
Yeah.
There's another scene here where it's very obvious the size that she is.
100%.
It's like, again, like describe her without describing her, basically. It's fine. I love the sentiment. And at the end of the day, I always imagine them looking however I want them to, anyways, because I don't have any internal visualizing. So, how do you want to approach this? Do you just want to go
I
through?
could just, yeah, I can list them and do the descriptions. So the
Perfect.
first one we saw was Alec, and he's 6 foot, broad shoulders, gorgeous, blue eyes, salt and pepper hair, chiseled jaw.
He's 40.
He is 40.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I only made a note about the youngest one.
Okay.
But the others are over 40.
Okay. He's the one who originally hired Sam.
He's the main client, but they all live together.
Yeah. And I would describe him, for the purposes of what we're kind of going into, as sort of like the dad of the bunch.
Yeah, the daddy.
I was literally just going to say
not the daddy.
Not the daddy. He doesn't give daddy as much as one of the other guys does.
Yeah.
But he is kind of like, he's the one that sort of wrangles all of this testosterone and kind of keeps them all in check and in line, but like not in a dominant way, in like a loving, nurturing way. So
then we have Reed. He is blonde, golden skin, model looks, green eyes, again, charming.
Mm-hmm. She describes him as blonde, but I quote, like the only blonde guy you'd actually fuck.
I do love that because I see that so often. This guy that I saw on TikTok was doing a video of all the attributes that he's put together after reading these books.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the description was black hair and blue eyes.
Mm-hmm.
That never a blonde. And this guy's a blonde.
We've also talked about this in the past. I don't do blue eyes either.
I know you don't.
They freak me out. I don't know what it is. Put your eyeballs back in your head. I don't know why people with blue eyes, they always look like they're like
I don't look like my eyes are gonna pop out of my head.
I know, but your eyes are very blue, but they're a little bit more gray.
Sure.
And I think that that's where
that helps.
I could literally list, I won't, but I could literally list at least 3 people that we know who every single one of them looks like their eyes are literally going to jump out of their skulls. And it freaks me out.
I also don't like blue eyes. In men, I prefer brown eyes and brown hair.
Yes, same. I want them to be dark, dark, dark.
Yeah.
Actually, that's probably men and women, really. So one note that I made here was that Sam and Reed have already previously had kind of a sexy encounter because these are her clients. So she has been doing interior design for them for a while. And she went over to their home one day to do his room, and he was not supposed to be there. He was supposed to have gone to work already, but he was still there sleeping in the nude. And she walked into his room, and he basically just got up out of bed, full morning wood, grabbed his dick, and then just kind of sauntered into the bathroom and said, like, "Good morning, Sammy." This guy is so cocky. I mean, there's no better way to describe him. He is cheeky and cocky, and
he is neither of our favorite.
He is neither of our favorite. He has green eyes though, which I think I'm starting to develop a taste for in some of these books, because Blackwell also had green eyes, and she describes like the piercing green eyes looking at him, and I'm like, oh my God, maybe I like green eyes.
I do like green eyes too. They're not as harsh as blue eyes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we have Cole. Brown eyes, big, severe, and serious. That's all I have for him.
Okay. He is the type A personality. He's the controlling of the group. And I really love this writer. She's going to get some really serious props for me, because she's describing how meticulously he reviews all of her work and her reports. And she does like a little hat tip to the Oxford comma, where she's like, oh, and then he sent it back to me because it's missing a comma before the and. So
you use an Oxford comma?
Always. Yeah, absolutely.
I have started because I did see that you're supposed to, but I never have before.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I'm just not that a fan.
I feel like when reading, it is the clearest way to describe groups of things versus
I will agree with that.
yeah.
I think that's why people are telling you to use it now.
Yeah. I appreciate her for that.
And then we have Jace. So Jace is the youngest. He's under 40. She describes him as the golden retriever. He has tattoos, wavy black hair, hazel eyes, and pierced nipples.
And she says that Jace feels like a hug. One you want to squeeze you tight so you can hump his leg.
Just the whole book.
This whole book is, you guys, it's fucking wild. This whole book is wild. It's absolutely chaos from beginning to end.
It was really hard to write the sex pages.
Yeah.
Because the whole book is basically foreplay.
Yeah. Yes. It's funny too, just to kind of give you an idea of the way that this author writes. This author does not take herself seriously.
No.
At all. And she has so many like funny little quips that she makes. And one of the things that she talks about in this early scene is one of Sam's previous clients. So she's kind of comparing like, these are the best clients I've ever had, the most normal I've ever had. And she's reminiscing on this older woman that she helped who had 2 poodles that she let put their tongues in her mouth. And she's thinking about it. And she's like, really, they were in there like digging around with their tongues. It's so gross, but it's so funny. I enjoyed it, but just go into it knowing that this is not a literary masterpiece.
No.
It is just pure good entertainment. It turns out that due to the snow, the men have canceled their party and they sort of jump into action, helping Sam get everything cleaned up because she's like, shoot, I have to get out of here. I have to get home. It's almost Christmas. And she describes the scene, these like big lumbering men, like bouncing around, cleaning up her stuff and doing all the heavy lifting. She describes it as something that's going into the bean bank.
Yes.
Which I call it a rub reel. I've never heard anybody call it a bean bank before.
I haven't heard either of those things.
I don't know where I heard rub reel. I feel like there's no way I could have made that up on my own.
No.
I
mean, bean bank also makes sense.
It does, but it's gross.
It is. There are a few things in this book where I cringed.
Really?
Just a couple things where I was like, oh no, not for me.
Okay.
And it's not like a trigger thing. It's just, ooh,
yeah,
don't do that.
Gave you the ick.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll tell you when we get there.
Okay. So they're snowed in and now they've realized that Sam can't leave. So they're all stuck in there together. And Sam decides that she's going to make them dinner because I don't know, apparently they
like can't cook.
Yeah.
It was kind of annoying. And I get it because they're all these wealthy men.
Sure.
But they were just like, yeah, we can't cook. And she's like, oh, I'll cook because I'm the woman.
Really? You didn't like that?
No.
Oh my God. I kind of loved it.
We had the Never King with Bash cooking these gourmet meals.
I know.
And now we have the girl who can't cook, but she's going to cook because she's the woman and it's expected of her.
First of all, she can cook. She says that she can cook.
Yeah.
But also, like, women come in all shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
We have all different types of talents.
Mm-hmm.
It's not realistic that every single one, everything else about this is not realistic.
That's my one thing.
Let's get a little bit of realism in here. All right.
It is realistic. That is what would happen. I
think it was just like the novelty for me. Again, I just think it's nice when there is something a little bit different because in every single one of these books, the
men can cook.
Yeah. The women do not cook. They don't do anything. The men do everything. And they have like servants that do everything the men can't do. So Sam makes them dinner and they're kind of hanging out after dinner, drinking because there's nothing else to do. They're stuck in the house. And they kind of start to learn a little bit about one another. And more time was spent here than there needed to be.
I agree. We don't need to say how they know each other.
Yeah, it really never comes up again. There's really no relevance to it. There were more than a couple of scenes where I was like, she just really had to find something to throw in here so that we could have a break.
Yeah, literally.
They offer Sam a third glass of wine, and Sam decides that she needs to stop herself and go to bed. I love that she intentionally brings up Twilight here.
Yeah, of course you do.
I can't help but wonder if she's a ratty. She describes being like Bella and exposing her throat to Jace.
Oh my God.
Love. Also, P.S. I don't know if this is intentional or not either, but my all-time favorite series is a series by Cassandra Clare. It's the Shadowhunter series that she does. And the main character in the very first set of books that she came out with, his name is Jace. So
Oh, sure.
I don't know if any of that was intentional, but there are a lot of pop culture references in this book that I can't help but feel like maybe it was a little nod, which again just like makes me like her a little bit more.
So I need to ask, if you're snowed in with 4 men and you're attracted to all of them,
Yeah.
are you going to bed after 3 fucking glasses of wine?
Abso-fucking-lutely not.
No.
There would not be.
No. I haven't declared which one. Whoever walks me into my bedroom, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to bed after 3 glasses.
Well, babe, this is how threesomes start. You don't go to bed after 3 glasses. You get everybody else drunk, and then you start making out with everybody and see how many people you can compile.
That is what I
into
would have done in this situation.
Well, and she is, I would say, maybe like a little neurotic. She absolutely overthinks everything.
Yes.
She is super awkward. There's like a couple of times where she like does finger guns at them, where she's like, all right, and like does like finger guns, and then like is like in her mind is kicking herself for doing it. She's a mess. And I don't know. I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was entertaining.
All of the decisions she made, I would not have made.
Right. Well, and I think the author was trying to, she's like, well, she works for these men. Like, these are her clients. There's a professional line she can't cross. And
After 2 glasses of wine, I don't care.
after 1 glass of wine.
Yes.
You don't even need to get me drunk.
No. If I'm snowed in, all rules are out.
Absolutely. She doesn't have any clothes. She walks around this whole weekend wearing their t-shirts with nothing underneath it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Alex shows her to her room, which is actually his room. He's going to bunk with somebody else. And he shows her how to use the fancy shower, to which she does not pay any attention. This is a smutty book, and there is no question that this book was written to be smutty. So everything that they are saying to each other all night long is hypersexualized.
All sexual innuendos, everything is sexual undertones.
Yes.
They're all thinking about sex at all times, which I can relate to that.
Yes.
But
she thinks it's in her head.
Yeah.
So she's like, there's no way that these 4 beautiful, sexy men, all 4 of them would be flirting with me. And I feel like I would have been like, yeah, they're all flirting with me.
Oh, same.
I would have been, she's like calling her sister and texting her sister. I would have been calling and texting Nicole and been like, they're in love with me and I don't know what to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would have just egged you on. Yes. I'm the hype friend. You call me when you need to be talked into doing something.
Absolutely. Nicole would absolutely talk me into a bad decision.
Yes.
This whole book really reads kind of like an 80s porn.
Yeah.
It really is that corny.
Yeah.
Like, oh, did somebody order a pizza? I have a package here. Like,
literally
that kind of language. So the reason she doesn't know how to work the shower is because she's spiraling about how she can get out of this cabin in this blizzard with her virtue and professionalism intact. So he leaves and she gets into the shower and immediately starts fantasizing about the men.
Yep.
She starts by imagining Jace in all his tattooed glory, naked, telling her to get on her knees so he can feed her his cock. And she realizes that she's going to need a release. So she decides that she's going to use the shower head, but presses all of the wrong buttons and starts panicking like really loudly when she starts playing Christmas music and only cold water is coming out of the tap head. And Cole comes in to check on her and he helps her with the shower and then he leaves her to it. And she promptly puts the shower head between her legs and returns to her fantasy where Alec is going down on her. Jace is degrading her while she sucks his cock, and Reed joins them, having her take turns using her mouth. And she's like panting and begging when in her fantasy, Cole walks in and she says, "Tell me I'm a good girl, Cole." And picturing him saying it makes her come.
She says, "Tell me I'm a good girl," out loud, and
She
says
says,
his name.
yeah. I really like the way that this scene is written because it's not cute.
No.
She is like really going in for the orgasm and she's like clawing at the she's like she's like she's like maneuvering her body to like get the best angle and like clawing at the shower and it just is as sloppy as you can possibly imagine when you're masturbating with nothing but the images in your mind to make it happen. And it just is so fucking great. And anyway, so she leaves the bathroom after her shower. She thanks the shower head.
Yeah.
Tells the shower head that the shower head is the real MVP. And she leaves the shower, and there, sitting on the bed, is none other than Cole. And he tells her basically, like, you didn't say the magic word, which is please. And she's in her med. She's like, oh, I hope you didn't hear me. And he's like, oh, I fucking heard you. And next time, say please. They share some banter where she mumbles, "You're a client. Like, we shouldn't do this." And he fires her and then aggressively starts making out with her. And after the kiss, he tells her he knew the day that they met that she'd be a good fucking girl. All of that is punctuated. So, period, fucking period, girl. And then leaves her there, like hot and bothered.
And Cole is your favorite
Cole's my
because
favorite.
of this. Yes. Yep.
Cole's my favorite.
I figured. He didn't ask to kiss her. He just like aggressively went for it.
I don't every single time want somebody to ask me. I think sometimes in certain, like, for example, in real life on a first date when I've never met you before and there isn't this like very clear sexual energy. Yes, I would like you to make sure that I'm on the same page as you. I literally just masturbated to you and all of your friends, fucking every single orifice on my body, and then said your name out loud when I orgasmed. Yes, you can kiss me.
Yeah.
Please do kiss me, sir.
That's an invitation for sure.
Cole exits and he and the other men discuss their game plan because apparently this is not a new activity for them. And there are rules and a process for finding the right woman and about the process for what that looks like with that woman. So they never do more than one night. They're kind of breaking the rules because they're going to be snowed in until Monday. And they just all want to make sure that they're on the same page. And the men agree that they are going to pursue her the next day.
They're pissed at first at Cole because they don't pursue a woman before they know if she's on board with all of them. Because it sounds like they really only have sex all together.
Yeah.
I got the vibe that they do not go on their own.
Oh, yeah.
Like this is their kink and they.
Yeah. Yep. We have to talk here just briefly about the text messages between Sam and her sister because one of the text messages that she sends her sister says that she got a little drunky drunk, which is, I say that.
Yeah.
I say little nappy nap, little snacky snack, little breaky break. This bitch took my words right out of my mouth.
Since we're on her and her sister.
Yeah.
They are very close. Like she tells her sister specific details about who put what where, and I would not do that.
I really genuinely forgot multiple times that they were sisters.
Yes. Yeah. These are things I would text you. Yes. I would text you like, this guy just spit in my ass. I am not texting my sisters that.
Absolutely. Yep, I agree.
I was curious how you felt about their relationship.
No.
It would have been better if they weren't sisters.
My sister listens to this podcast, so I'm the one narrating it, and I'm already like borderline wondering if I should text her to tell her not to listen to this one. So
it's just going to be a nice surprise for my sister. But I don't have any stories with this one.
Oh, no. Yeah.
I haven't done any of these things.
Sure. Yeah. The next morning, Sam heads downstairs, hoping to avoid the men. So it's very, very early in the morning. And she runs into Reed in the kitchen. And Sam's really doing her best here, but she's having a hard time. She's so awkward. She is like painfully awkward. Reed accuses her of teasing him, wearing nothing but a t-shirt, and then he starts to degrade her and tells her that he can make it hurt so good. He positions himself so that his leg is between her thighs and starts to tease her by rhythmically running his hands up her thigh while he continues the gentle teasing / degradation and then starts kissing her. He hooks her leg around his waist and uses her hair as leverage to pull her head back while he kisses her throat. He leans her back on the counter and puts his fingers inside her and then takes them out and licks them clean while he dry fucks her to orgasm. At which point, Jace stumbles into the kitchen, doesn't understand, like, hasn't caught on to what's happening yet. And then he sort of realizes what's going on and sort of teases them a little bit. And then she forces Reed out of the kitchen to the hallway where he breaks it down for her and explains that they want to share her. He tells her if she agrees to meet him under the mistletoe in Alex's t-shirt for a kiss. I read those notes verbatim off of my page and like looked over at Nicole briefly and
It's so graphic. Like, a lot of times it'll just say, like, he put his fingers inside. He thrusts his fingers in or whatever. This is just like step by step. And the whole book is like this.
If I hadn't made the descriptions, I wouldn't have had anything to write about.
Very true.
So I had to write the description.
And that's what this book is. Like, we have a duty to describe these books.
Yeah. We owe it to our loyal listeners, all 68 of them. So he and Cole overhear Sam call her sister, and her sister is like, "You're overthinking, you're going to ruin it." And she's like, "I am overthinking, but I have a million questions and I'm not going to do this without getting my questions answered." And so after their conversation, she realizes that with all of these questions, she's not going to be able to stay focused wearing nothing but Alex's t-shirt. So she decides to pull a Joey Tribbiani and puts on every piece of clothing in Alex's closet before she confronts the men.
I didn't love this. She has 2 questions.
Yeah.
She
only gets to 2 questions.
Those were the only questions pertinent to the situation. Throw on some sweats if you're so worried. It didn't make sense. What are you worried about?
You are so boring.
She's already decided she's going to go have sex with these men. Going out there, wearing all of these things. Is it for her benefit? Is it for their benefit?
Yeah. I think she's worried about herself more than anything.
Do more clothes make you think more clearly?
Well, I can see how wearing nothing but a thin t-shirt with no bra and no underwear would derail any line of questioning that I would have.
But could you put on some sweatpants and been good? Did you need to pick out everything?
Well, I know, but that's what makes this fun.
Of course it does.
I love the chaos of it.
Oh
it
my
really
God.
brings me joy.
Of course you do.
It's okay to be a weirdo. I really love this whole scene. Noted. I wrote it down. She's like fumbling around trying not to flirt with him, and she is like awkwardly pulling her phone out, and she's like, "Oh, sorry, I put all my notes on my notes app." It's a funny scene.
That I will give you that one.
Anyways, so they're all just kind of hanging on the edge of their seat for her questions, and she just asks the very first question on her list, which is, how am I not getting pregnant or getting like ... herpes? And that's the end of that chapter.
Yeah. And those are very, very valid questions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, she's on an IUD, so the pregnancy one was kind of a dumb question.
Yeah.
But the not getting STDs is a very, very valid question. Mm-hmm. Are we wearing condoms?
Absolutely.
Valid questions.
Yeah.
I could have done it in a t-shirt.
Sure. Well, then this next part just adds to the chaos because she drops the bomb that she is a virgin.
Shoot.
Darn it. Just kidding. She does say that, but she's just fucking with them, which is
You would do this. You would do this.
I really, really genuinely enjoyed this whole scene.
Yeah.
This was probably my favorite scene in the book, and it wasn't even a sex scene.
Sure.
I just love the chaos of it. It's so great.
I was really trying to figure out what my favorite scene would be.
Mm-hmm.
They're so intense.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that first one where he just like gives her an orgasm on the counter, the other ones were too much for me.
Oh, shoot. So is that one on the counter going to be your favorite scene, do you think?
Probably. Honestly.
I have to relive them. And then
I do like the whole he can't control himself. He has to give me an orgasm right now on the counter.
Yeah.
The other ones were so choreographed and detailed and so many holes.
I definitely do not like this dynamic as much as I like when there is male action.
Sure.
I prefer it when like they are also interested in one another and not solely me. But I think that goes back to like I like to have sex adjacent. So it's like I like the idea that like I'm having sex and there are other people having sex and we're all just getting fucking wild. And
yeah, you're not having sex with 3 men and then one other guy is just like rubbing your boob.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So she drops the joke that she's a virgin, and then she basically starts to overheat because she's wearing 76 layers of clothing.
God.
And she kind of starts to like pass out, and they all are kind of hovering over her and like taking off some of the layers. And then she says yes.
Mm-hmm.
And the men run her a bath. Jace undresses her and takes her into the tub where he allows her to ask more questions, but she really doesn't have any more questions.
No.
Yeah. Nicole's mad. Nicole's literal face is mad right now.
Like what? I don't even.
Yeah.
It was plot.
Yeah.
It was non-sex plot.
Yeah.
So I guess, sure.
He asks her to use her words, and she confesses that she wants him to go down on her while Alec watches. And he pulls her to him, like wraps her legs around his waist, and they start making out as he's getting them out of the tub. And I have another note here that this is very dangerous. You should not do this.
You should absolutely not do this.
I don't know how he did not. She says, I trusted him not to slip and fall. Bitch, how?
You shouldn't have.
You should have, because
you were so worried about getting herpes.
Honest to God. Like, but you're not worried that he's going to slip and fall while he's carrying your weight out of, anyways, it's fine.
Yeah.
Jace lays Sam out on the bed and makes her call Alec in and tell him what she wants, which is for him to jerk off watching and then to cover her pussy with his cum.
Yeah.
Nicole's face. So Alex sits in a high back chair facing her, and he takes his cock out and he starts stroking it while Jace eats her out. And pretty quickly, she requests that Reed join them.
And it is an interesting choice hierarchy here.
Yeah.
That she first wanted Jace, then Alec, then Reed.
Yeah.
Then Cole.
I know. I honestly really could have done without Reed or Alec. I really just needed Jace and Cole.
Yeah.
Would have been
the tattoos, and
that would have been fine for me. Yeah. The nipple piercings. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. He comes in and they kind of flip her sideways on the bed, and Jace gets back to going down on her while Reed fucks her mouth and degrades her. And he calls Alec, who's like still stroking himself, to come over and watch. And then Jace starts finger fucking her while Reed and Alec tease her. And then just as she's about to come, she feels a slap on her pussy and she opens her eyes and Cole is there.
Yeah. She didn't even call for Cole, though. I was a little salty that she didn't even call for him. He just had to walk in. If I were him.
Yeah.
I'm a little pissed.
I have to ask you which guy was your favorite, because he is clearly the most possessive. It makes sense that he would be your most favorite.
Yeah, he is.
He is your favorite?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Good.
the possessive. He got me for you at Good Girl, but throughout the rest of the book, he's really possessive, and that is for me.
Yeah. And originally I didn't like him because I don't like those type A personalities. That's kind of why I was like more of a Jace girl initially.
And he was my backup for you.
And I probably would have been fine with just Jace too.
I would have been fine with just Cole. I don't have a backup.
Yeah. Well, he directs the other men to mark her, which they all do. And then he directs her to tell Alec what to do. And she tells him to come on her pussy and then uses her hand to make herself come, just as Cole whispers, "Good girl."
Mhm.
Ta-da!
Not done yet.
Sam wakes up because it turns out that she passed out after their first fun little session. And the only reason I included this scene here is because it reminded me of Nicole's previous comments about sleeping with hockey players.
I know. Again, this sounds miserable.
Sam is she's got to pee, and she's trying to maneuver her way out of the bed without waking up Reed or Cole, who are sleeping on either side of her. And they're like moving around in their sleep and like grabbing her.
Yeah.
And she's kind of like inchworming her way down the bed. And she's underneath the covers, and Cole like rolls over and slaps her in the eye with his dick. And the name of this chapter is literally, "I'm pretty sure I'll get pink eye from this shit." So again, just giving you context for what to expect with this book.
Yeah.
Sam decides that she's going to surprise the men to make up for falling asleep. So she bakes them cookies and coordinates a festive little setup in the living room where she's wrapped herself in nothing but ribbon.
Again, you get an idea of her size here.
Yes.
Wrapping herself in just teeny tiny little bits of ribbon.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It opens with Jace and Reed teasing her. And then they call in Alec and Cole. And Alec joins first. He says he wants to watch her come again, to which she says no. And Alec, taking the hint, turns her around and bends her over, rubbing himself into her ass. So she's saying, "No, I don't want you to watch. I want you to participate." And they call in Cole, who shows up. He's always the kind of like the final say in all of these scenes. He's the boss of everybody. He's directing everybody. It's giving Caleb.
Yeah.
Which you didn't even like Caleb.
I know.
He has Sam get on her knees where he like pours champagne directly from the bottle into her mouth, and then they unwrap their gift.
Again, I hate that. That sounds sexy, but I'm going to choke. It's going to get in my nose. I'm going to be sticky. You don't like blood or rain, but you're fine with champagne all over yourself? Sticky.
I mean,
that's not just going in your mouth.
I think like I guess it's not just going in my mouth, but it's not like a deluge of rain while I'm having sex. It's not like it's raining champagne.
You're sticky. I hate being sticky.
It has a start and an end.
You're sticky the rest of the time.
Do you know what it is, Nicole? I'm going to tell you exactly what the fuck it is.
Yeah.
It's a sensory thing. I'm already over fucking stimulated by everything that's happening. And then it's also raining on me.
And then your hair is stuck on your neck because there's champagne on your neck. Oh my God.
Well, her hair isn't stuck on her neck because they manhandle her by her hair. So that part is taken care of for her.
I couldn't get past the sticky.
Sure.
They also call her Sweets.
Sure.
My grandpa calls me Sweets.
Oh, ish. That's gross.
So pretty immediately,
yeah,
I was like, oh,
just
turned off.
No. Nicole's finger just went from hard to soft.
Yeah. I think that is why that first kitchen scene is probably my favorite, just because the rest of it, there is something that reminds me of someone and it gives me the ick.
Sure. I don't like how Jace calls her cutie.
Yeah.
And I don't like that Reed is always tickling her.
Oh my God.
If Reed had been dark hair and had not been tickling, Reed would have been my favorite.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's a blonde, a tickler, abso-fucking-lutely not.
He was kind of annoying too.
Sir, go the fuck away. So they finish unwrapping her, and Alec starts on her nipple while Jace works on her neck from the front. So they're like kissing and sucking. And then Reed kisses her neck from behind. And then they all stop in unison when Cole joins her, coming face to face. And he uses a piece of the leftover ribbon to tease her by running it over her body while the other men watch and stroke themselves. Cole starts rubbing his knuckles against her clit while Reed kisses her neck from behind. Jace holds her throat and she makes out with Alec. And then she starts making out with Jace and he says, "Who does that mouth belong to?" And she says, "Him." And somebody else says, "Don't choose favorites unless you want to be punished." And she says, "I have a favorite, but you're going to have to fuck it out of me." I didn't realize that we were going to have so much fun talking about this book.
It's a lot to read.
Sick.
Because I have so many notes because I was like, Cole does this, and then Jace grabs her boob, and then Jace moves to somewhere else, and then Reed grabs. And it's just, it was hard to, because I am very visual. I can picture. So it's like images popping in my head.
Sure.
So it was kind of like, okay, this guy's here. And then, oh, nope, like he disappears and this one's here.
I actually have never been so grateful for not having any mental imagery because when I'm reading it, I'm just experiencing what they are describing. So she's saying like, oh, his hand was on her breast. And it's like, I just can feel it on my breast.
I'm trying to picture how it all played out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it was a lot.
Yeah, it is quite choreographed.
Very. 4 was too many.
Sure.
She has 3 holes.
3
would have been fine. We could have gotten rid of Reed and just had 3. And I think it would have been easier for me. The fact that just 1 is always touching or watching while the other 3 are fucking her.
Yeah.
3 would have been fine.
Yeah. I really, really like the idea though. So I have a mouth, I have an ass, and I have a vagina.
3.
And then I have somebody to watch.
All right. Well, 4 is the perfect number for you. 1 is the perfect number for me.
I think I agree with you. This is too much.
Yeah.
Reed like hooks Sam's leg over.
He like squats
his shoulders. Yeah. So he squats down and like hooks her legs over his shoulders. And then he starts eating her out while lifting her off of the ground. So he's basically giving her a piggyback on his face, which again, describe her without describing her.
Yeah.
She says specifically that these men are 6 feet tall. There is no 6-foot man that could haul me up on his shoulders frontward facing. You would have to be an 8-foot beast of a man to be able to manhandle me like that.
The mountain from Game of Thrones.
God, at minimum.
She puts so much trust in these guys too to not kill her.
True.
She is in some deadly situations.
Oh my God.
She could have slipped in the bathtub.
Wow.
And she's not even in.
You're so responsible. Oh my God.
These are dangerous. I think they were unnecessary.
I think this is my favorite episode that I've ever done with you. Truly. Oh my God, I was not expecting that.
Oh, man.
This is so great. He transports her to the couch. So to Nicole's point, there's so many things that he could stub his toe on. He's completely blind because his face is buried in her pussy.
I'm stressed out.
He somehow manages to get her over to the couch where he puts her down on the couch and then she starts like rubbing herself. So she's kind of like putting on a show for them.
Yeah.
And Cole commands her that all of the other pieces and parts belong to everyone else, but her pussy belongs to him. She's not allowed to come until he comes. So says Cole.
I do like the possessive of Cole. He's really hot in my mind.
Honest to God, all she had to do was describe him as a Peaky Blinder. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. It's going to be cool for me. 100%. He sits on the couch and Reed sets her on his lap, straddling him. And then while Cole plays with her nipples, Reed like bends her backwards. So Cole is not inside of her at this point. She is still has the capacity to be bent backwards, basically. And then while her head is back, he puts his dick in her mouth while Cole fingers her from the front. And while Reed's in her mouth, Cole pulls his fingers out and rubs her wetness on her nipples and then directs Alex to suck them clean. And did you just make a noise?
No. I made a face.
Yeah, you did. Jace joins to have her stroke him while the other men continue their ministrations. And Cole finally allows her to sit on his cock. Alex and Reed take turns fucking her mouth while Jace takes her ass from behind.
I don't hate that.
Hey, thank you. You're so kind. Look at the little scrap you gave me.
That I don't hate, but again, it's a lot.
It is a lot. Yes. I personally would never be able to sustain something like that.
No.
I wouldn't have the fortitude for it. I would be a sloppy mess. Reed comes first in her mouth, and then Jace in her ass, and then Cole flips her on her back, where he directs Alec to come over, and Alec comes on her breasts while Cole comes inside her. And then she runs her hands over her body and licks Alec's cum off of her fingers. And they take her to shower, and then there is aftercare.
No.
Nope, not for you.
No.
Ugh,
I'll swallow.
Sure.
But I'm not going to lick it up.
I honestly, all I could imagine was like being there with them and licking it off of her. That was where my mind went. So I know that makes you uncomfortable, but
it's the same as the snowballing.
Mm-hmm.
What that did.
Yeah.
Men's cum does not taste great.
Yeah.
So to lick it up,
it's just,
I have a weak stomach. Maybe that's it.
I know, but just like for me, the idea of licking cum off of a woman's chest is like the most erotic thing I can think of. So
interesting. Noted.
That's just me. They make food and they flirt, and she gets eaten out on a table and then on a stool. We don't really see that happening much. It's just kind of alluded to. And then they decide to play strip poker, which apparently Sam is like really good at or something. She does this really cringy strip tease that, I don't know, they all end up naked.
And there's the thing with when they're making breakfast, like right before they play strip poker, Jace is eating a peach.
Yeah.
And then hands it to her so she can take a bite. And then he licks the juice off of her chin.
And takes her bite from her mouth.
I don't enjoy that either.
Oh my God, Nicole. I was like, oh my God, that's so fucking sexy.
Nope. That was the ick for me.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
I know. So from here on out, I was just kind of like, oh,
wow. It's not like it wasn't like she had like chewed on the peach bit.
No,
I just taken a bite. It was still a whole peach bite.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was like,
I still hate it.
A little baby bird or anything.
It feels very baby bird though. It's just not for me.
That's okay, honey.
Yeah. Everybody's going to know how vanilla I am after this.
Ma'am. We have read multiple books now that were pretty fucking dark that you were really into. So
yeah, but there's only one guy. That is it for me. I can't do multiple.
Like Brutal Obsession. If Grayson had done that to Violet, would it have bothered you as much?
No.
See?
No, I wouldn't have.
Okay. So you're not vanilla. You just
it's the 4 men.
Yeah.
That's what I'm struggling with the most. Yeah. I'm just one guy, one girl. I don't care how dark it is.
Yeah.
As long as there's just 2 people. I don't do the why choose.
Sure.
They're not for me.
Okay. Well, They aren't for me. So where the fuck were we in this
Strip poker.
So they're playing strip poker and turns into this like weird strip tease, which like I'm fine with a strip tease, but
they're always cringy.
Just the whole thing is kind of, yeah. They all end up naked, passing Sam around in the hot tub. We don't even like really know much about how they all get in there naked. They just are all of us.
They just are there.
And Alec has her sit on the edge of the tub while he fucks her. And then Jace and Reed play with her nipples. Alec comes and they like turn her around. Reed face fucks her until he comes. And then Cole takes her ass, which I thought was an interesting choice. But then Jace directs the hot tub jet to her clit, and then she comes, and then Cole comes in her ass. And then Jace makes her suck his dick, saying, I like you used. It's weird that we don't have page numbers. I always get good like palate cleanser after I go through one of those.
Yep. We'll have all the page numbers are out on all of our social media.
They are all kind of starting to like fall for each other. There's a couple of cutesy scenes here that both Nicole and I were like, what the fuck's happening? They all learn that the roads won't be cleared on Monday as expected. And Sam expresses how sad she's going to be because she's missing her regular eve of Christmas Eve with her sister where they sit around and drink wine and watch movies. And so Reed locks her in a room where he goes down on her and then fingers her until she comes. This scene was the most realistic scene of all of the scenes because he is fingering her and he's like, talking dirty to her and she says something like, I wish. He knows what she wishes.
Yeah.
She wishes that could continue this past this time period. And so he's like, tell me what you wish. And she is like, well, I don't want to cross any lines. And these are the boundaries that they set. And like,
she's spiraling in her head for sure.
Yeah. He's just like, I wish we could just do this one more day. She just kind of like throws it out there. And you can tell that he's so disappointed. He like buries his face in her neck and is just kind of like composing himself basically. And that reaction, that entire interaction was probably the most realistic thing that I read in this whole book.
It is. They set ground rules and they told her very specifically at the beginning that this is just like a one-time thing.
Yeah.
They've been doing this, and the fact that they're expecting this girl who's just come in here to change the rules, I feel is very unrealistic.
Sure. Yeah, you're mad about it.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
No, I thought that interaction was very, I feel like there have been plenty of times where I've had like somebody that I was like hooking up with that wanted more. And I was just kind of like,
I've been there too.
No, you know? So when they leave the room, the other men have set up like a sheet fort with a TV and wine and popcorn so that she can FaceTime her sister and have her traditional Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
They all apparently hang out all night. They have so much fun. The men get along great with her sister. Sam wakes in the middle of the night and she and Jason Cole start to have sex and then are interrupted by the fire department, letting them know that the roads are cleared. And Sam literally, it's the middle of the night or like early morning. And she basically is just like, oh, okay.
Guess I better go.
Just like gets up and just starts packing.
I do feel like that's realistic. Because this girl who has no idea these guys told her this is for a weekend. Now they're snowed in longer, which they didn't even talk about really. And she's like, they probably want me to leave.
I know, but I literally just had your dick inside of me. Like, can we finish that up, please, before I go?
Oh, yeah. I would have needed to finish that.
She doesn't finish that. She is
she immediately jumps up.
She's fumbling around. She's like, oh, I'm gonna go. And then she does the finger guns again. God. And it's just the whole thing is just so fucking awkward. And she's definitely hoping that they're gonna ask her to stay. And then they don't. And she leaves.
Cole tells her to leave the shirt on the bed.
Yeah.
I would have booked it out of there.
Absolutely. No, I agree 100%. Yeah. I would have felt so unwanted.
Which was the point. So I guess like, girl, fucking get over it. But
no, 100%. She is totally entitled to feeling sad. She leaves and the men realize that they're sad. And then they start fighting about the prospect of keeping her. And Sam goes back to her life. She has Christmas with her family. Her sister sets her up with a date for New Year's Eve. Christopher.
Yep.
Poor, sweet Christopher.
I want a book about her sister after this.
Oh, God, yeah. Absolutely.
Once we get to that part.
There is another book in this series called Scrooged.
Okay.
Is that about Eleanor?
I don't know. I haven't looked, but okay. Eleanor, she's funny. I like her.
Eleanor is a good fucking time.
Yeah.
So she's on her date with Christopher. The men show up. They want to win her back. They explain that they had to negotiate terms before deciding. The clock strikes midnight. She says yes, and Cole, with a black eye, explains that he won first kiss, and they kiss.
Yeah.
Go ahead and tell the scene about Eleanor.
So when all four of the guys walk up, I think that's a really fun scene. That's probably my favorite scene.
Okay.
All the four guys walk up. Sam is there with Christopher. He's just gotten her a drink, and she's like, I'm so sorry about what's going to happen. And Eleanor's there too. Christopher goes to introduce himself to these guys, and Reed's like, no.
He literally is like, hi, I'm Christopher. Puts out his sweet Christopher.
Yep.
He was so close. He puts out his hand. He's like, hey, I'm Chris. And Reed is like, nope.
Yep. He just shuts it down, which I loved. And then as they're professing their love, Christopher is like, hold on, still here. And her sister is like, slow down. You are not the main character here. But my date is over there making out with somebody else. So I'm pretty sure you're going to get laid tonight.
Yeah.
I just love, I love that for her. She's going to hop on this dick for her sister.
Honestly, she's such a cheerleader this entire book. And I really appreciate Eleanor a lot.
Yes, I loved that.
Yeah. The epilogue is 1 year later. They are, I don't know, basically living half naked in domestic bliss. She's making a lasagna with nothing but underwear on and an apron.
Yeah, no top, no bra, no nothing.
I just feel like there's so many reasons why you shouldn't do that. It's so dangerous.
Again, this girl is just living so recklessly.
Yeah. She describes going out into the living room. She says dinner's ready. And the men don't come running like they normally do when she mentions food or sex.
Yeah.
So she goes out in the living room and they're all wearing their boxers with Santa hats, which, honest to God, that image, oh my God, that image, I was like, okay, I'm glad that she snuck that in there.
Oh, see, I would have cringe written down.
No.
They have that Alvin and the Chipmunk Christmas song on and they're dancing.
The dancing part is cringe. They're all dancing. That whole part is very cringe. Yes. It feels very unnatural to me. Yes. But good, please. All I want for Christmas is to wake up and to walk into my living room and to have four sexy, tatted, pierced, half-naked men standing in my living room wearing Santa hats. Are you fucking kidding me? Mm-hmm. That was a good visual. Sure. If I could visualize. Nicole's unimpressed.
Yeah.
That's the end. Yay!
What a story.
This is my favorite episode we've recorded so far. Watch me go to editing and it's just trash.
Right? I swear to God, if our audio.
Oh, God, don't jinx us.
I know.
Don't jinx us. So we want to thank Paggle and Nicole as well, because they have both been buckling down on our social media and we are really kind of crushing it. Trilina Pucci, which, honest to God, thinking about it, that name really just should give us all the context that we need about what to expect from this person. She is a connoisseur of pop culture and San Pellegrino, but her true passion lies in crafting tantalizing romantic novels that delve into the depths of desire, emotion, and even hearty belly laughs. And then on her website is so fun. You should go visit it. But I love that the photos on her website are literally photos that she just took on an iPhone. Oh. They're not posed. She's not dolled up. She just
does that on social media too. She's super fun. Go follow her.
Yeah,
read the books.
Yes,
they are.
It was a good time.
Yes,
yeah,
that is the bet. They are a good time.
Yeah. Other books by Trilina Pucci. This is part of a duology. This is the More the Merrier series. She also has Touchdown Love series, the King Brothers series, the Star-Crossed series, and the Scandalous series. And I have to be really honest with you. The King Brothers series is a dark mafia.
Oh, I do. We haven't done a mafia. We need to.
Yeah. I'm gonna probably need that in my life.
Yeah.
Anyways, that looks good. All right, ratings.
Spice level.
Spice level, we're going to go with graphic.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna give this probably a 5.
I also gave it a 5.
It's very descriptive.
Yeah. Very.
Yeah.
You'll be able, if you can picture stuff in your head, you'll be able to picture it. It's graphic. Spice frequency.
Spice frequency, I'm gonna give it a 5.
I also gave it a 5. The whole book is sex.
That's all it is. Yeah.
Even when they're not having sex, they're thinking about sex. They're talking
When
about
they're
sex.
talking to each other, they're basically talking about sex.
Yes.
Even though they're talking about lasagna.
Yes. Pros.
Ooh. I'm gonna probably give it a 3.
I also gave it a 3. Look at us agreeing on everything.
I mean, I think the nice thing about our rating system, one of the things I think we really need to lean into on it is that it allows for these books to exist categorically in the same universe as a book like Praise or like Neon Gods, because those books, they might not have the same frequency, they might not have the same graphic level, but the prose is better. And so I think that the rating system that we developed is kind of critical and kind of helping people to understand what they're getting into when they read these books.
Yeah.
This book is a 3 prose.
It's developed enough to move the story.
It's written fine enough. She's a generally good writer.
A cute writer.
This book does not feel like it was written by a 10-year-old, but it is not necessarily as
You're not as
beautifully
invested
or artistically written as some of the other books.
You didn't cry.
I did not cry in this book.
No.
Nope.
Storyline.
Storyline, I'm going to give it a 2.
A 2. I gave it a 3.
Okay.
Just, yeah, that kind of a story. There wasn't a storyline.
There really wasn't. Yeah.
Overall,
I'm going to give it a so I'm having a hard time because I'm going to update the way that I rate things.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to go back to some of our previous books and re-rate them.
Sure.
I am going to start giving out 5s.
I love that.
I know. I feel like Praise and Neon Gods should have both been 5s.
Sure.
So I say this, I'm going to give this book a 3.5.
Okay.
And I say that knowing that I'm going to go back and re-rate those.
Yeah.
Because I think this is definitely a book. If somebody was like, I'm just looking for smut, I would absolutely recommend this book.
I told Brooke about this book.
Yes. This is a book I would recommend. Yeah.
I gave it a 3 overall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good ratings.
I was excited. We had a lot to talk about. So it was fun.
Yeah. Where can you find the book?
It's actually quite accessible. Again, it is on Kindle Unlimited. It is, you can buy it at Target, Barnes & Noble, paperback. It's on Amazon. So very, very accessible. You can get this on audiobook.
Ooh.
Let's tell Peggle to listen to it. She loves audiobooks. I'm going to buy this for her.
Yes, please do, Peggle. I love that. All right. Well, we are still working on developing our social media. Please join us there. We are on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook at Bookslets Pod. We are on YouTube at Bookslets. We are online at booksletspodcast.com, and that links to all of our social medias. We are working on getting on to Lemonade and Blue Sky.
Yep. We are on them. We just don't have anything on them.
Yeah. So, and we are going to start pushing out some content more regularly as well. So stay tuned for that. I'm Amanda.
I'm Nicole.
And we are Bookslets. See you next time. Bye.